Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Magic Arena Explorer video. So apologies there haven't been any uploads in a while. I have been unwell, fighting off some sort of flu, so that took me out of the game for a week or so. And to be honest, with the launch of Explorer Anthology 3, if it had been a better Anthology, I'd probably be more annoyed about that than I am. But here we are, and today we are playing a little bit of Naya Midrange. And we are running the new card in the format Voice of Resurgence, which is one of my favourite inclusions from the new anthology. So it's green white for a 2/2, and it says whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, and when Voice of Resurgence dies, create a green and white elemental creature token with this creature's power and toughness at each equal to the number of creatures you control. So in general terms, it's a 2-for-1 against most forms of removal, but also it can be very difficult to break through against certain types of decks if your opponent's playing counter control, rogues, spirits. These are the kind of decks that like to operate instant speed, and Voice of Resurgence can really punish them for doing so. And then the rest of the deck is essentially sort of Naya good cards built around that. I mean, the reason we're playing Naya is that I've always wanted to give Fleetfoot Dancer a go in the format. So it's a 4/4 with Trample, Lifelink, and Haste in that kind of Mantis Rider tradition. So that's our kind of one of our big payoff cards, but we're also running 3 copies of a Seeker's Chariot and 2 Elder Gargaroth as our kind of powerful creatures. And then also Planeswalkers at the top end includes 2 copies of Vivian Monster's Advocate, which not only creates 3/3s, but also lets you cast creatures from the top of your library, and also Vivian on the Hunt, which is not one you see hugely often, from Streets of New Capenna, which has a kind of breeding pod effect for its +2/+1 lets you draw a whole load of cards, and then -1 create a 4/4, so you can just put this down and then just start turning out 4/4s every turn as well. And then down the bottom end, we've got obviously the Mana Elves to help us ramp. Prosperous Innkeeper, which does a similar kind of thing, but also acts as a bit of life gain. And then Gala Greeters as a sort of utility creature that can do a lot of things. So it can, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can either put a +1/+1 counter on it, create a tap treasure token, or gain 2 life. And then at the 3-drop slot, we've got 4 copies of Brutal Cathar, so a very efficient removal spell attached to a creature that can often double up. And if you do go to Night mode, it's a 3/3 first strike with a powerful ward ability, and then 4 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It's a mid-range deck running red, no one is surprised to see this, and 1 copy of Domri, Anak of Bolos. And then in the mana base, we're having to run a lot of dual lands. This deck has got a little bit better since the printing of the fast lands, the allied fast lands in Phyrexia will be 1. And then we're running Lair of the Hydra and a forest as well. So that's our mana base. And then in the sideboard, it's broadly as you'd expect. It's sort of all the best sideboard cards in those colours. So we've got Rending Volley to deal with spirits, Grease Fangs, that kind of thing. Rest in Peace as Graveyard Hate. Archon of Emeria to deal with Phoenix and other types of decks. Elite Spellbinder as Hand Disruption. Knight of Autumn as a good versatile creature, which you can bring in against decks which are running lots of artifacts or enchantments, or something like Mono Red. And then we're also running 2 copies of Settle the Wreckage as a removal spell that doesn't, a mass removal spell that doesn't affect our creatures too badly. So yeah, it's a classic mid-range. It's obviously, this is very kind of janky and thrown together, so it's not necessarily going to be up there competing with Rakdos mid-range, but it does use one of the new cards, one that I'm excited to try out. So yeah, let's go onto the ladder. Hit those like and subscribe buttons as always. Plenty more content with new cards to come, and let's see how the deck does. So we're on the draw. Opponent has bulliganed once. This is a good hand. Always. You never go wrong. Okay, Rakdos it is. Let's that down. Play an Innkeeper. Okay, well that does not line up hugely well against our Fleetfoot Dancer, so let's put that to play. Let's play Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Don't think we need another one. Let's play Vivian. Just Vigilance. Okay. Happily take down your Bone Crusher Giant here. Okay, let's play Innkeeper into Fleetfoot Dancer into attack with Fleetfoot Dancer to make another 3/3. Good, good. I'll happily trade the 3/3s that I'm making every turn for their creatures. Okay, this Innkeeper is doing work for us gaining life. Well, as I can see, that's a land. I'll take it. Let's draw from the top 5. It's decent. Yeah, that would be an interesting card. But it's not. Um, now, what else are we doing? Let's make a 4/4. Add a Gala Greeters into play. Make another 3/3. Pass the turn. Fare thee well. Good, good. So, what are we bringing in against Rakdos? No, this deck does line up not terribly badly against it. Let's pop in Spellbinder. That'll probably do for the moment. And take out Chariot? Yeah. Too vulnerable to endless fatal pushes. That is not a very good hand. That is a... Well, that's not very good either, but it is better. Marginally. So let's pop away one elf. Fable makes it a much better hand. I mean, Fable makes everything a much better hand, but... Shieldred less impressed by. No. Okay, well, they've had a pretty good hand. So, do we play this Vivian or do we play On the Hunt? Let's drop On the Hunt. I don't suppose they have much incentive to attack here. Feels aggressive, but sure. Well, we either trade for Shieldred or we lose, so... Ooh, Spellbinder's fun. Let's pop that into... Still going to be pretty tough, but we're not dead yet. Okay, well, let's play Fable. Pop Voice of Resurgence into play. Create another 3/3. Oh, an interesting game this is going to be. Let's discard that. Life gain is everything here. Incredible that we're probably now favoured to win this game. Attack, attack, attack. Okay, land down. There you are, Rakdos Midrange. Got a bit of a lesson from us there. Okay, we're on the draw again with an interesting opening hand. One that I think I'm going to keep. Okay, I wasn't thrilled about drawing another Mana Elf, but I suppose we'll learn to live with it. Okay. Rakdos version number 2. Double red, double white. I don't think it makes that much difference. Interesting. Okay, let's play Innkeeper. Voice of Resurgence. Let's force them to do something if they're going to do it. Interesting. Croxer, eh? Okay. Are they looking to fatal push my chariot? They are. Okay, well, I'll get a token. Attack with that many creatures. Still can't do them any real damage. Wow. How many of our elves? We got 5? 5 for our 8 elves? Fortunately, our opponent got mana screwed while we were drawing a interesting array of cards there. So let's do the same sideboarding again. Let's pop in Spellbinder, take out Chariot. That seemed to work reasonably well for us last time. Yeah, a little bit on the slower side, but okay. Right, let's see if we can get Shieldred out of their hand. Huh. Interesting set of cards. So well, let's just take their go for the throat, I think. Let's play Fable. Discard here. Let's play Garg. Mystic. Yeah, that's annoying. Very annoying. Let's attack. Block here. Okay. They don't actually have any creatures in the bin. Now they have Crocs, so okay, that's not ideal. Take this for 5. Yeah, well, if they're just going to draw that much removal, there's not a great deal I can do. Don't think there's much point shifting it around. Just be on the play. Yeah, decent enough. Let's play Gala Greeters into Llanowar Elves to create a treasure. Let's play Innkeeper to Voice of Resurgence. Okay, Garg's pretty good, so let's play that. Attack with Voice. Okay, Gargaroth survived, which is kind of the main thing. Let's draw a card. Hello. Let's go again. Vivian on the Hunt is a very good draw. What do we... Well, let's just kill their not token. Let's play Vivian. Sack their Innkeeper. Fetch a Cathar. Get rid of their Reflection. Okay. Let's draw some cards. Yeah, I'll take all of them. Let's get rid of that. Play Voice of Resurgence. Play another Mystic. Am I fussed about them doing 3 damage to Vivian? Not really. Well, let's draw again. Spellbinder once. Play another Voice of Resurgence. Play a Mystic. Some attacks. Another Spellbinder. You think eventually they'd run out of removal spells, but apparently not. And let's get them to 6. Yes, no, yes. Would you like to? Oh, for God's sake. Okay, well. Would you like to die now? Let's take them to 1. Okay. 2-0 against Rakdos Midrange. Okay, let's run this back one more time. Decent first couple of matches there, so no red mana is frustrating for Fable. Is this still worth keeping? Yeah, I think so, probably. Our opponents either not with us or... No, there they are, mulliganing, fair enough. Need them to bit of a slow start here, hopefully. Okay. Well, still can't play it. Could it be a deck that isn't Rakdos? Let's just keep hitting them with Llanowar Elves in absence of doing anything else. Oh, they're doing plenty of damage to themselves, if nothing else. Yay! Okay, Misery Shadow I could live with. Ooh. Ooh, do I want to keep both of those? I kind of do. Pass the turn again. Okay. That is okay. That is what we call okay. Send this chappy in again. And I think we will save this in hand just to discard to the Fable. Sure. 1, 2. Are they just dead here? They must be just dead here, I'm sure. Activate this for 4. Fair enough. They did most of the damage to themselves there, but we can still take the credit, why not? So, mono black. Night of Autumn? Yeah, don't hate it. Pop that in. Take out one elf of each kind. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sideboarding has been. I mean, these decks are quite well configured to play against black, so we haven't needed to do a lot of sideboarding. It copes very well with decks that try and do a lot of one-to-one interaction, hence why it did pretty well against Rakdos. Yep, decent enough. Well, I shall be catharing away their creatures from now until the end of time, but in the meantime, let's play a Night of Autumn. Turn into a 4-3. Wonder what's become of my Fleetfoot dance since this video. They seem to have just run away. That's not an ideal draw. I generally prefer to be doing something a bit more than that. Yeah, actually that's not bad. So let's play that and see. I was almost ready to scoop there, but I think actually the chariot has given us something to think about. Okay, not so much now. Okay, let's pop in Spellbinder just for their Invoke Despairs. Pop the Elves back. And let's take out Chariot. And a couple of Cathars. Yep, that'll do. There's always one. So let's Fable. I need to keep both of these now. So 4-3. Should make fairly short order of this game. And indeed we did. There we are, 3-0 for Naya Midrange. That was fun. It's a fun deck to play, even though, as I said, I don't think it's going to be breaking anything anytime soon. Yeah, it's got a lot of game against decks that try and go 1-for-1. Just a lot of its creatures generate a lot of value. And then, Vivian on the hunt, you can draw 2, 3, maybe 4 cards a turn. It's just very hard for the opponent to keep up. So yeah, that's the deck. Voice of Resurgence did some good work there, so did a lot of the cards, actually. Yeah, I like that a lot. So yeah, there we are. Thanks very much for watching. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you next time.